Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special preview episode of the Inside the Circle podcast. Now, we've a good one today. We're having a look at the men's Group 2 and seeing how well the teams are going to get on.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Circle. It is another preview episode. This time it is men's Group B, and another very special introduction to Mr. Simon Mason, who's going to go through the teams again.
Pool B in the men's competition is as tough to predict as Pool A is. You've got Belgium, India, Australia, Argentina. You've got Ireland and New Zealand. On ranking, Belgium, India, Australia and Argentina should make the quarterfinals, but it's never going to be that simple. The pressures of an Olympic Games mean that some players will play on form, some players will get swallowed up by the atmosphere of the occasion itself, distracted by the nature of the competition and therefore really not perform. Starting at the top of that pool though, you have Belgium in terms of rankings, third in the world, obviously coming into the competition off the back of their gold medal from the delayed Tokyo Olympics, then the silver medal if you go all the way back to Rio. So this group have got that Olympic pedigree. They're the most experienced squad in the entire competition, over 4,000 caps across their named 19 players, which is truly remarkable given that most other teams carry between 2,000 and 2,500 as the most experienced sides. They have got another Olympic medal. They have bronze. It's all the way back in 1920 though, so that's particularly irrelevant. I think you're going to have to look at the players who aren't necessarily the most experienced. You're going to have to look at a Venier. What can he do in those midfield roles? How can he complement with a Denayer? How can he work with a Jean-Jean Doman, for example? And then Arthur Van Doren coming back in the back line. Hasn't played a lot in the last 2 or 3 months because of a couple of little niggly injuries, but is one of the best distributors of the ball in world hockey, and I think he makes a big difference. If you'd asked me a month ago, would they make the semi-finals, I would have said no. And I'd have said no because it didn't feel like they were quite finding the form that they would need. But in the last 4 weeks, the end of the Pro League, they suddenly, literally suddenly overnight, looked very, very sharp at times. And they're going to be up there. Their ranking of 3 in the world is deserved. And so they've definitely got the experience to make an impact at this Olympic level. India then ranks 7th in that pool. Bronze back in those delayed games of 2020. How will they do? And world hockey knows that their culture of hockey is such that when they are playing well, they are unstoppable. When they get on the front foot, when they're assertive, when they're creative, they can literally tear teams apart and be unplayable. Will they deliver that consistently across games where maybe they're faced with a deep defence to play against? Ireland, if they come out and hold them, they did it in the Pro League. They were so close, Ireland, to getting a result. If they thwart them, if they take away the oxygen from an India, then suddenly those results can change. I think their results are going to rely on not just on one man, but I think Ahmed Rahidas can have a massive impact. He's one of the best number 1 runners in world hockey, and he will therefore create a defence on PCs that will stop opponents scoring in the competition. And if that's the case, then maybe they come through with an odd goal win, but they'll want to come through playing their normal style and we're going to win 5-2 in all of the games. Corners, Harmanpreet. Will he get tired is my only issue, is what's his fitness like coming into the tournament, and if that's the case, do they have to look at Gurjant as a bit of a alternative to him? How can they flex that and how can they make it work together? They have got the capacity, the capability to get right up into that top 4 again, but have they got the consistency is the question. Argentina, I think, are the team that the 2 sides below them in the rankings are going to target. Yes, you've got Domine, whose corner flicking is unreal, really difficult to read. You've then got De La Torre, whose quality down that, particularly down that right-hand side, can really inspire them, to do some very special things. But will they bring that to the party? They want to sit deep. At times it's almost boring. They struggle to create their own energy, and then they look at counter-attack. They don't play consistently over big spaces, or haven't done across the Pro League over this last season, and that I think makes them a little bit fragile. And therefore the 2 teams beneath them, I think, will look at them as that shock result from a rankings perspective. New Zealand ranked 10th in the world coming into it. That means they're 5th in terms of rankings in the pool. They will definitely look at Argentina as a scalp. For me, whether their youngsters can complement their older players. Can a Sean Finley, can a Charlie Morrison, 21, 22 respectively, come in and support the likes of Charles, the likes of Woods, the likes of Ingles, etc., and really create a dynamic that means they have depth across all the lines? If they do that, if they deliver that as youngsters on the Olympic stage, I think they could steal some points somewhere. Can Nick Woods, their captain, stay fit enough? And I just mean that physically fit. It's going to be such hard work. Temperatures in Paris are going to start nudging high 20s. It's going to be humid. It's going to be tough for him. He works so incredibly hard. I've got every admiration for the simple physical work he puts in, but can he deliver that across all the pool games? We shall see. Ireland, bottom rank in the pool, they're going to have to rely on Sean Murray, their captain, to be inspired. He was, again, across the Pro League, superb, even though they finished in that relegation position. O'Donoghue has been around the block. He knows his stuff and could help deliver. It's just such an ask in the pool they've got to look at the 4 teams above them. And then personally, I think Darrell Walsh has played brilliantly across the last 2 or 3 months. But will brilliance be enough to see them out of the pool? If they do get out, it'll be a big result against one of the teams, other things going in their favour, and they finish 4th and then get into quarterfinals. I don't think either New Zealand or Ireland will finish higher than that. And then Australia. Personal favourite side in the competition because of how they play. They are physical, but they have more to them than that. Yes, if you're going to compete with them, you have to go shoulder to shoulder, toe to toe, and be prepared to work incredibly hard, take the knocks and dish them out. But they've got a little bit more guile. Zalewski and Wetton, happy to play through channels in tight spaces. They're quick, they're intelligent hockey players, and that then feeds their forward line when you see someone like a Tom Craig who is so big. I mean, just a brutally effective forward that is, you can't get near him to tackle and then gets the shots away. And then Govers, or what more can we say about him, has developed from being a raw youngster 3, 4, 6 years ago, however long that doesn't matter, into now a really, really honed machine of a player and can deliver on penalty corners as well as in open play. And they have a depth of talent that I think means they come into this winning the Pro League. Not hot favourites, there's too many good teams, but they are right up there and they're going to be very, very tough to beat. So I think Pool B in the men's, top 4 ranked teams, I think will make the quarters. I don't think we'll see a disruption there, but it's the Olympics. You never know.
Thanks, Simon. Well, this could be an interesting group. I think there's a few more opportunities, maybe not just as clear cut as Pool A.
No, I would agree. I think this is a group full of teams that anything really could happen. You've obviously got Belgium, like Sam was saying, the previous winners in Tokyo, led by, or part of the leadership group is Felix, who's playing with the new Naked Sticks. And again, I think it's a really, really special story that Naked Hockey came from just up the road from us. Small company. I don't think they had this maybe quite in their sights that all of a sudden a world superstar would be playing with their sticks in the Olympics. Sponsored by Red Bull, producing lovely sticks that I think most people can enjoy.
Well, I think now that this season especially, they've now brought the range down, so it's just not at the top level. They've brought another couple of sticks into the range, which allows people to have that stick and be able to use it and show it off on the pitch. So it was probably a good decision. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Absolutely. And interesting to see what happens is perfect for describing India, I think.
Yes.
They're either so unbelievably hot and brilliant or very cold and you don't know what's happened with them. I think it's going to come down to, like Simon was saying, their penalty corner attack and defence. It'll be very interesting to see that if they get all these attacking short corners, if they convert them, they're going to be unstoppable. But if they convert them, it's going to be down to their penalty corner defence. That is probably what's going to keep them in games rather than anything else.
Yeah, defensively wise, penalty corners are just such a massive part of the game now, and it's just interesting that we've got all the specialists. From a defensive point of view, it's going to be interesting to see what equipment people are using. The OOP mask is obviously way ahead of everyone else, and to be honest, you stand on the corner. I was a goalkeeper. I wouldn't do it for love or money.
Yeah.
And to have a metal guard on your face is probably
makes the difference.
It does. Excuse the pun, but it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
As opposed to a piece of plastic. But there are really some really good points to it. I mean, at the lower level, probably not at the top international level, but at the lower level, if a player sees the ball coming, they tend to turn their head a bit. So, but there's that protection here now.
Right.
Mercian have brought out some new masks as well, which give a lot more protection around the head, probably more so at the lower level. But it's an out mask all the way. I mean, you would you wouldn't put your kid in anything else really. And yes, it's expensive, but obviously it's more durable. All of that. But it'll be interesting to see if anything pops up, something new, and we'll keep an eye on it. I'm not sure there will be. I think it's just going to be the out mask because it is so robust. But it'll be interesting to see.
It definitely will. And another team that will benefit from attacking short corners potentially is Argentina. Again, like Simon was saying, I think this is the team that's going to be targeted by Ireland, New Zealand, and definitely probably India as well. That this could be the team that they should beat. They should going to try and beat these guys to get the points to potentially get higher in the group and through into the more qualifying knockout games. New Zealand and Ireland, well, I think that they are young squads, inexperienced squads, but that's not always the worst thing on earth, especially coming in. You've got no pressure on you. You're coming to just play hockey and have a bit of fun. And I think that's the attitude that they need to come in with.
Absolutely. Truthfully, I think this group is a little bit more open than it could be. India, depends on what they do. I mean, Ireland and New Zealand probably could be targeting the likes of Argentina and India. I mean, I'm not going to say, it would be interesting. I think Ireland and New Zealand should or could, finish top four. No problem. One of them. Simon says, Sean Murray there. He's an unbelievable player. Great captain for Ireland. Obviously slightly biased as again he's a local guy, but he's brought so much from playing in Europe, and he's such a cool head. And he in those couple of wins against Belgium, like he was man of the match.
Oh, and he was, and it was easy to see that on the pitch. The experience that he's gained playing over in Europe, in Belgium, funny enough, and a quick story that speaking to his family after those couple of wins and good results against Belgium, he was going back to heroes welcome, a bit of bragging rights, which is always great to have. But they can see, other players on international teams can see that he is performing well, and that sometimes never really happens with Irish players. They go overseas and they play and everyone goes, oh, they're brilliant, but to get that recognition on a world stage is brilliant, and I think he's going to do a really good job at leading this Irish team.
I think so, and Ireland will have targeted a number of they obviously want to win all their matches, but you also have to be realistic. They've had some good wins over Belgium, so they could do it again.
Tight result against India as well.
Oh yeah, but let's see what happens. Obviously Australia are probably they're probably Simon's favourites here.
Yeah, I think most people's favourites, to be honest. And I think it's the story of the group that Australia have a player, Matt Dawson. He's been around for a few seasons now for them, and he's pretty much cut off a finger just to get to the Olympics. He had to get a bit of his finger taken off because I think the surgery was going to take too long and the recovery is going to take too long if that didn't happen.
Sure, just take it
off.
Yeah.
You don't need it. Yeah, sure, you don't need a finger to hold the stick. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see how that story progresses through the Olympics, and I think it's just another testimony that Australia is willing to do absolutely anything to get on a hockey pitch.
Oh, look, to be honest, we wish them all the best. I mean, it's great to see that. So it is. But yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, indeed. Talking of India, how many times do you think they've won a medal of any colour in hockey? And I did say 1980 was the last time they won a gold medal.
Oh, so if working on that logic,
any colour.
12.
Oh, you cheated. So, in second place, 10 medals.
It has to be the bright orange of the Netherlands.
No, Australia. And the
I said yellow of Australia.
Grasping at straws.
Yeah, very much so.
Third's really interesting. The Dutch.
Okay,
the Netherlands with 9, joint with Great Britain.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, you forget that they've had
Yeah.
medals here and there.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So there you go. I'll leave you with that fact.
Absolutely. And guys, as always, let us know in the comments below what teams you think might do well during these pool games. I think it's going to be another interesting one. In the bias in me, I hope Ireland do very, very well. And
we'll settle for second.
Well, yeah, Second, of course.
Second in the group.
Second in the group. But guys, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.
Take care.
Bye.